Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We've got all the latest on Dallas coming out of an ugly, but hey, they covered the spread win over Tennessee. We begin, of course, with the injury news. Tyler Biadasz, latest updates here, more of the same from what we knew last night. Cowboys fear Biadasz suffered a high ankle sprain, and that does put his playoff status in doubt. He was in a boot after the game. Jerry Jones had no updates on his radio interview this morning. That's Dr. Jerry. I hope he's going to be okay for the playoffs. I'm not very confident in that. We'll wait and see. This was the offensive line when Biadasz left with an injury. It was Jason Peters at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard, McGovern at center, Zach Martin at right guard, Tyron Smith at right tackle. Maybe you try to flip around your tackles and put Tyron on the left side where I think he's infinitely more comfortable. I think we've seen that in the play so far with his technique and his hand placement, etc. But your other backup center's already on IR, and Matt Farniok. It's not a good injury for the Cowboys. So coming up tomorrow, Tyler Biadasz replacements, the internal options, the offensive line shuffling. We will explore free agency. Not great because it is January at this point. So make sure those notifications are turned on and you're subscribed for our Tyler Biadasz replacements coming tomorrow right here on the Cowboys Report. More injury news. Micah Parsons. You saw the club on his hand. Didn't matter as he one-handed recovered a fumble, by the way. Sounds like he's in some kind of laceration, getting stepped on there, so more of a precautionary measure more than anything else. I'm hoping it's healed in time for the playoff game, and he's got the club off just because, it's easier to have your hands and fingers available and thumbs and whatnot than being in a club. I'm not worried about this one at all. I thought, by the way, Micah played very well. I'll probably have to wait for the Ultimate 2 to come out, but I want to find the play where DaRon Bland comes on a nickel corner blitz and isn't touched because they double-team Micah and they just ignore DaRon Bland. That's what I call a gravity player. Players who absorb so much attention that it frees up others. 6 pressures, 2 quarterback hits. Yeah, no sacks. Hey, you get a bunch of pressure, some QB hits. You draw so much attention. Other guys get freed up. I'll be happy with that. There were quite a bit of hits on Joshua Dobbs last night. Also, Dak Prescott. You saw the right knee injury. My thought live, having watched it again this morning, it just looked like a brief minor hyperextension, or maybe he got his knees banged against each other with as he fell to the ground. Dr. Jerry thought maybe it was hyperextension too. Again, it's Dr. Jerry. No one appears to be concerned right now for Dak, and thought a slight limp, and then he scrambled and picked up 10 yards or 9 yards on a keeper and didn't limp at all. So I think he's fine. Probably will have some soreness, but you got plenty of time before your next playoff game or even your next game that matters on next Sunday. With all the injuries, namely the Tyler Biadasz one, what is your concern level right now over them for your Dallas Cowboys? Scale this for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's mention Tony Pollard here as well. He missed Week 17 with a thigh injury. I'm old enough to remember when the Cowboys said he was fine and was going to play. And Mike McCarthy said, no, we're going to play it safe here. This was a Sunday game or a playoff game. I have no doubts he would have been out there. No one appears to be actually concerned. It was this game doesn't matter that much. Let's not risk further injury and sit Tony Pollard just for our own sanity. I think he's going to be just fine come playoff time. We'll talk about the run game overall, though, here. Got some concerns there in a little bit. There were troubling injuries as well in that game. Guys who got hurt but did return. Sam Williams left the game, came back in late as they kind of went bench defensive ends down the stretch to get some breathers in there. He looked fine out there. Jayron Kearse left the game, came back. It's the 3rd or 4th time he's done that this year. He's fine. Nahshon Wright, who we will spend some more time on later, left and came back. So did Malik Hooker. So those guys, all defensive players, just fine. I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Fetch. Use the Fetch app for iPhone or Android to scan your receipts for points and then turn those points into gift cards. Whether you're shopping at Target, Walmart, any grocery store, your local mom and pop stop, you can earn reward points by scanning your receipts with Fetch. You can also connect your Amazon account to your email and earn points on all your e-receipts. Use our link, chatsports.com/Fetch. And use promo code CHAT at sign up to earn 5,000 points when you scan your first read. That is the equivalent, folks, of a free $5 gift card to get started. As you earn points, you then click redeem, as you can see right here, and turn those points into gift cards for hundreds of stores or restaurants like Amazon, CVS, Starbucks, whatever it is. You see how easy it is to use, right, folks? The 5,000 bonus points, though, is only available for a limited time. So get started right now. Chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT, CHAT. That link and the promo code, chatsports.com/fetch, promo code CHAT, is in the comment section and the description of today's show. Go check it out. I know people who watch the show have like over 50K points. It's insane. You can even rack that up pretty quickly here, especially if you've got a kid like me and you're constantly having to buy things like diapers and food and whatnot. Chatsports.com/fetch, promo code chat. Hope this is the end of the Terrell Owens conversation. T.O. and his agent are like, Terrell Owens wants to play. We've been in constant contact with the Cowboys and Jerry Jones' office. And Jerry said today, I have not talked to anyone there, and I have no interest whatsoever. Now, I do kind of think that T.O.'s agent was able to get a hold of Jerry, and Jerry was like, playing sales, was like, yeah, we'll look into it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not happening. T.O.'s 49 years old, and to be quite frank, I think it is a bit of a joke that this was even published in the first place. It was a one-sided article, only talked to T.O.'s agent, no mentions at all from the Cowboys front office. It never passed the smell test. You don't need 49-year-old Terrell Owens. I get that he is in ungodly shape at his age. The Cowboys were never going to sign Terrell Owens. It never made sense. It was clickbait of the highest order, and frankly, there should be a little bit more journalistic integrity out there in terms of what gets published. Because the agent just said some stuff, and the Cowboys never had interest. By the way, T.O. does this every year. T.O. wanted to play for Dallas. Yeah. Cowboys never had any interest. I want to be the Cowboys GM. I'm not going to be, nor should I be. And also, like, this doesn't make any sense. It's the same thing. I mean, maybe T.O.'s got a bit better of an argument, even though he's 49 years old. But, like, that doesn't mean there's an article saying that, Cowboys report host Tom Downey has talked to Jerry Jones. No, come on. And also, by the way, to give some praise here to players who actually matter, T.Y. Hilton is playing out of his mind, and I am very happy with how well T.Y. Hilton has stepped up. 5 catches, 102 yards. T.Y. has been a big piece of this Cowboys team. It is very clear Dak Prescott already trusts him on third down. We're going to do stock up, stock down here in a moment. T.Y. Hilton definitely deserves to be on that list, but we'll mention him here before we get going on that front. All right, stock up, stock down coming out of the Cowboys-Titans game. Yes, I'm putting Dak Prescott on the stock up list. Despite what certain reporters like Tim Calishaw might say, did Dak outplay Josh Dobbs? Unquestionably. Without Dak Prescott, you don't win that game. Now, maybe your defense does enough, but offensively, it's back-to-back games, several games in a row, frankly, he's carried your offense. We'll get to the turnovers, I promise you. But I have a very tough time going, well, the offense is averaging 35 points per game, and it's because of the passing offense, and going, the quarterback's bad. I just can't get there. There's a handful of teams who would be like, yeah, you know what, Dak's not better than our quarterback. Like, I just can't get there. So this, I'm sure, will go well in the comments. But rank Dak Prescott for me among NFL quarterbacks. Head down to the comments section. Let me know. Look, we can argue if it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but it's somewhere in that range. He's been really good since he came back from injury. Next up is CeeDee Lamb. Look, he's here. He has arrived. His numbers also since Dak came back are basically consensus top 5 across the board in the NFL. That's really good. 149 targets, 102 catches. The third receiver since Witten and Michael Irvin to get to that number. 100 catches, 1,307 yards, 8 touchdowns. A lot of clean games in a row out of CeeDee Lamb. The missed route communication between him and Dak seems to have been sorted out there. The drops have gone away. Lamb has been balling. He is your wide receiver 1, unquestionably. He and Dak Prescott are your 2 best players on offense, I think by a pretty good margin right now. We can also throw in Zach Martin if we want to, since, he's a Hall of Famer. Let's go stock up to Dalton Schultz, the tight end right now. That was a really good game out of Schultz. Now, we'll talk about the ground game and the blocking and, in a game where Hendershot just I can't believe he dropped it. You can't throw it any better. It's in the chest. And then you're just doing a shovel pass to the defender. It's just crazy. Schultz, though, was really good. 7 catches, 56 yards, 2 scores. I thought that was a really quality game from Schultz. Some nice contested catches. You got to figure out the bad throw from Dak and not let that happen because that's all on Dak. We'll get to the turnovers in a little bit, but I thought Schultz played really well. We'll talk about cornerback 2 later on the outside, but DaRon Bland continues to be a key part of this Cowboys defense. And look, you've upgraded, luckily as you were, going from Jordan Lewis to DaRon Bland. Lewis isn't bad. Bland's played awesome. They brought him on a few corner blitzes. He got home a few times. Bland and Diggs, I trust at corner. It's the other spot we'll get to here in a little bit. Final stock up here, because we mentioned Micah Parsons earlier. About DeMarcus Lawrence. I thought that was a really quality game out of Tank Lawrence. Several pressures, 2 pass breakups, good run support, no sacks. I know that's what we all want, but Tank Lawrence remains your number 1 run defender by a significant margin. That's a praise for Tank Lawrence there. Big splash impact plays with those PBUs, even though it's not that different than a sack if it comes on 3rd down, as far as I'm concerned. I thought Tank had his best game in several weeks. Still have a great answer for this one. Who was your Week 17 MVP? If Diggs catches that pass and then runs it back for a pick 6, it might have ended up being Diggs. But who was the Week 7 MVP? Let me know in the comment section right now. Stock down. The turnover boys. The penalty boys, knock on wood, have mostly gone away. The turnovers have not, and I am not excusing any of them. We can argue about who was at fault between the center and the quarterback on the missed snap. Maybe we'll just go 50-50 on that. The pick to Hendershot was clearly Hendershot. The pick to Schultz was clearly Dak. I don't really think there's any sensible arguing beyond that in terms of those 2 interceptions. You got to get it figured out. Now, I think I would still take 2 turnovers per game if you're dropping 35 points per game. Like that, I will take that trade-off, but I would prefer to just go 30 points per game and stop the turnovers. So you got to get it figured out. Dak has not been a turnover guy in the past, and there's a lot of different reasons why. If you can clean it up, this offense is the number 1 offense in the NFL. Right now, instead, it's despite averaging 35 points, it's probably more like top 5. Now, the other reason why you've had some turnover woes is your running game, because your running game last couple weeks has been bad. I am very concerned right now about this ground game, and I get Tennessee has a really good run defense. They were awful, the Cowboys were, on the ground last night. Ezekiel Elliott, 19 carries, 37 yards. Malik Davis, 10 for 39. You take away the long of 23, it's even worse. First down. Shout out my boy Bobby Belt for the numbers. They ran it 19 times on first down. I'm trusting Bobby's numbers than my on-the-fly ones I mentioned last night, by the way. 19 times, 33 yards. That sucks, guys. I mean, what happens when you do that is you're asking your quarterback to open up the game by going 8 of 10 on 3rd downs. And that's what they did. That is unbelievable level of 3rd down conversion rates. And frankly, if you have a bad game on 3rd down and you can't run the football, you're in trouble. You're going to have your Niners performance like you did last year in the playoffs. That's got to get figured out, because right now you're asking a tremendous amount out of your quarterback to carry your offense, which, hey, he stepped up to the plate, but I would like to make life easier on him if I can. So what is your biggest concern right now for the Cowboys? Turnovers, is it the ground game, O-line, maybe cornerback 2? Those points coming up here next on the Cowboys Report. I am worried about the offensive line. You've got injuries. In general, when your ground game struggles, I think it's an offensive line issue. I think that's where we're at, and I think this will be your offensive line, maybe. Maybe you flip the tackles around. I mean, it's not what it was supposed to be. Now you're down 2 starters again, which isn't very good. I don't think they've done a good job of blocking. I think they're kind of falling back too much on the inside stuff more than they need to. Hope they get things figured out. Nahshon Wright, we'll go quick on these last 2 here. I know he's young, but you're playing Josh Dobbs and one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL. He had a great pick, don't get me wrong. 10 targets, 7 catches, 105 yards. Basically, when you're throwing at Nahshon Wright, Opposing receivers turn into CeeDee Lamb. That's not good. Cornerback 2 terrifies me. You really miss Anthony Brown. And Kelvin Joseph, by the way, is not any better. The king penalty boy this year, from a per snap perspective, to put it in perspective for you guys, for Kelvin Joseph, 450 snaps on special teams and defense, 8 penalties. Boss man bad. That's all I got. I'm not going to cut him, but he's got to get it figured out because that cornerback grouping, Joseph and Wright, does not inspire confidence.